Chapter 9. The Missing Messenger Boy. The white-haired man started, and a dangerous light came into his eyes. Then he tore the handkerchief from Bertie's face, thrust it into his pocket, and looked down at the set, white face of the boy. "Safe," he muttered between his teeth. The knock was repeated. He walked to the door. "Who's there?" he asked. "The chambermaid," came a feminine voice. "Come back in 5 minutes." He listened to the girl's retreating footsteps and heard her enter the next room. Drawing a long breath, he went to one of the windows, threw it up, thrust his head out, and breathed copiously the pure air outside. He remained by the window until the odor, which was strong in the room, had been dissipated. Then he took the handkerchief from his pocket and tossed it into one of the bureau drawers. After that he walked over to the inert form of Bertie Ballister, opened his jacket and vest, and listened around his heart. "He'll come to in time," he whispered. He lifted the boy in his arms, carried him to a large closet, propped him up against the wall, and closed the door. "Everything has worked as I could wish," he said to himself, picking up the bonds which he stowed away in one pocket and the money which he placed in another. He unlocked the room door, took up his broad, soft hat, and left the room. He went directly to the office. "I'm going to Newark," he said to the clerk, handing him the key to his room. "Possibly I may go on to Philadelphia from here. If so, I will not be back before Monday morning. However, I will retain my room until that time. If you will make out my bill, I will pay you." "To Monday morning, you say?" asked the clerk. "Yes." The clerk took the money, handed him a receipt, and the white-haired man left the hotel with not the slightest intention of ever returning to that place again. An hour later a message was received over the phone by the hotel clerk. Mr. Morse was at the other end of the wire. The banker wanted to know if his messenger had been detained at the hotel. "Not that I know of," replied the clerk. "Do you know when he left the hotel?" "No, sir. I didn't see him after Mr. Bailey showed him up to Mr. Morton's room. He couldn't have remained there more than 15 or 20 minutes at the outside, for Mr. Morton handed in his room key within that time before he left for Newark." "Then Mr. Morton isn't in the hotel now?" "No, sir. He left at least an hour ago." "I should like to speak to Mr. Bailey." "He is not in at present." "Very well. That is all." Mr. Morse was puzzled by Bertie's lengthy absence. The boy was always very quick in executing his errands, even unimportant ones. With 10 $500 government bonds in his possession, and knowing that the office was closed at 1 o'clock on Saturday afternoon, it was a matter of surprise and some uneasiness to the banker that his messenger had not yet turned up. Mr. Morse usually went home at noon, but on this occasion he felt it was necessary he should wait at the office until Bertie came back. 1 o'clock came. The clerks went away, but the banker remained in his private room with the boy's pay envelope on the desk before him. The janitor came in to clean up and was surprised to see him there. Mr. Morse sent him for an afternoon paper and read the news until the clock struck 2. "It is very strange," mused the banker, laying the paper down. "I can't imagine what could be keeping the boy. I'm afraid he's met with an accident." He rang up the hotel again. The manager was at lunch, but came to the phone at once. In reply to the banker's anxious inquiries, all he could say was that he had taken the boy to Mr. Morton's room and left him with that gentleman. At the request of his guest, he had taken the package of bonds from the office safe and sent them to his room. Beyond that, he had no knowledge of the movements of either the messenger or Mr. Morton, except that the head clerk had mentioned that the Westerner had left for Newark about 11:30, after paying for his room up to Monday morning, from which he judged that the gentleman would be back before night. Everything seemed to show that Bertie had got the bonds, paid for them, left the hotel, and then Mr. Morse couldn't say what. The banker then rang up the Jersey City Police Headquarters and asked if any accident had been reported which involved a boy answering to Bertie's description. After some delay, Mr. Morse's anxiety in this direction was relieved. "If I didn't have the utmost confidence in that boy, I might begin to suspect that— such a thing is out of the question with Bertie. I'd as soon doubt my own son. The banker waited until 3 o'clock, and then he became fully satisfied that something serious had happened to his messenger. He left his office and went up to a well-known detective agency not far away. He had a long talk with the manager, after which he took a car for home. Within half an hour, a detective was talking to the manager of Sailor's Hotel. What he found out was substantially what Mr. Bailey had told Mr. Morse over the wire a short time before. Then he went off without having found a clue, but he said he would be back later on to see the gentleman from the West. About 5 o'clock, the chambermaid, whose duty it was to look after the rooms on the 3rd floor of Sailor's Hotel, unlocked the door of room 32 and entered with clean towels. As she was leaving the room, she fancied she heard a noise in the closet. She listened and heard the sound again. "I believe someone is hiding in that closet," she breathed, beginning to feel frightened. She didn't have the nerve to investigate the noise, which once more came to her ears plainer than before, but she had presence of mind enough to push the button communicating with the office. In a moment or two a bellboy appeared. "I believe there's a thief concealed in the closet of this room," she said in great trepidation. "I guess you're dreaming," replied the boy contemptuously. "I heard a noise twice in that closet," said the chambermaid positively. "There it is again. Don't you hear it?" Yes, the bellboy had heard it. "Give me your broom," he said. "If there's anyone there, I'll just knock the daylights out of him." With the broom grasped in his hand, he marched over to the door and threw it open suddenly. Bertie Ballister rolled out on the floor, then struggled into a sitting posture and looked around in a dazed way. "I've got you, you rascal!" cried the valiant bellboy, seizing Bertie by his 2 arms. "You give in?" The young Wall Street messenger made not the slightest resistance. He simply looked stupidly into his captor's face. "Ring up the office again, Lizzie," requested the bellboy. A second bellboy appeared on the scene. "Jimmy, I've caught a sneak thief in the closet of this room. Run down and tell the manager." In a few minutes Mr. Bailey walked quickly into the room. "Caught a thief, have you, Dixon?" he asked. "Yes, sir. He was in the closet. Lizzie heard him first." "Bring him over to the light and let me see what he looks like." Dixon dragged Bertie over by the windows. No sooner had the manager got a square look at the boy than he gave an amazed gasp. "Why, what does this mean? This is no thief, but Banker Morse's missing messenger boy. Where did you find him? In that closet, you say?" "Yes, sir," replied the surprised bellboy. "There's something the matter with him," said the manager, stooping down and peering into Bertie's face. "Water," gasped the boy. "Bring some water, Lizzie." The girl obeyed. Mr. Bailey put the glass to Bertie's lips, and he drained it to the last drop. "It is very singular this boy should be here and in this condition," said the manager, never dreaming of the real state of affairs. "Where am I?" asked Bertie vaguely. "Haven't you any idea where you are?" asked Mr. Bailey in surprise. The boy shook his head. "Don't you know how you got into that closet either?" "Was I in that closet?" asked Bertie, hardly comprehending his situation yet. "How came I to be there? That's what I want to find out. Dixon, run across the street and see if Dr. Smith is in his office. If he is, bring him over." Dr. Smith happened to be in his office and came right over. "There seems to be something the matter with this boy," said Mr. Bailey to him. "I wish you'd examine him." End of chapter 9.